What's your name, darling?
Savannah.
Samantha, go for it.
Welcome to the weekly episode of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Your host, Steven, and co-hosts Mike, Devon, and JD are all set. Join us and tweet your questions at Freelancer Codex. Find us on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com. Strap into your javelins, and let's drop in.
Welcome, freelancers, to episode 81 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. I am your host, Steve, along with two of my regular co-hosts, Mike and Devon, and joined by a special friend of the show. Can we call you special friend of the show, Lupo?
Sure.
Or do you like we need to get you a different title here? Like, because this is the third time you've been on.
This is my third.
We'll get you like 4 next time. We'll just bring you on permanently. How about that? JD's gone. This is a good time to say. I think every time you've been on, JD
hasn't been. He's always like,
I think the second time I was on, he was here.
Well, we're glad to have you back. And since the last time you were on, I guess you have some news that I don't know if you shared with all of the Freelancer Codex people out there, but do you want to share the good news with everyone on your Mixer status now?
Yeah, absolutely. So since my last time joining you guys on the podcast, which was 2.5 months ago, I think episode 70 was the last time I was on. I became a Mixer partner. So the first week of March, I accepted a partnership with Mixer, which is pretty much similar to like, a Twitch partnership and stuff like that. So it's, new opportunities for monetization and connecting with other developers and things like that. So it's a new experience. It's a new set of challenges, but ultimately see where it goes.
Nice.
So you're famous now. Now you don't have to have a regular job.
Famous.
Yeah, so I have to file a 1099 next year. Basically, that's what it means.
Very cool.
I'm a paid internet entertainer, and take that however you would like to.
Woo!
Okay. What kind of shows do you guys? Those cam shows? So Rusted in the chat says, we've never seen Lupo and JD at the same time. And he's like, So maybe you guys are. All right. So real quick,
Doppelganger.
You're like Batman. No, you're not like Batman. So just to get to know you questions, JD is not here. He is actually feeling under the weather. Probably got something from one of his kids, coughed on him and sneezed on him or something, or transferred it through a paper that he was grading. I don't know how that stuff goes. Mike, I mean, you guys use sanitizer all the time at schools, right? Keep the kids away, arm's length. Hopefully, you're keeping kids at arm's length if you're a teacher.
I actively avoid children at my job.
Fair enough. So speaking of your job, so I wanted to know kind of our get to know you question. I want to know, what is one lie that you constantly tell to your kids? Because all 4 of us have kids. Lupo, you have 2 kids, right, Lupo?
No, I only have 1. I don't know how any of you guys do that. I don't know how any of you guys do that.
So Mike, what is one lie you tell your kids? I mean, it doesn't have to be like a serious lie, like, hey, you're not really adopted, but one lie that you constantly tell your kids that you're just going to keep going for.
Ask me again in a second.
I'll ask Devon first. We'll go with Devon.
No, that's my lie.
That's what he tells him.
Oh, I fell for it. It's such a good lie that I fell for it.
That's actually not what I say to my kids. I probably say something like, "We'll be there soon," or I actually don't lie to my kids. What's wrong with you? Why do you lie to your kids?
And sometimes kids, man, am I right? Kids. So one thing I told my kids, and I don't even remember telling them this, but it has started this thing. You remember when you guys were kids, and anytime you would go over a bridge, everyone would be like, "Oh, hold your breath, we're going over a bridge." I don't know why people would do that, but you guys all remember that, right? Yep. I mean, we've all done that.
Yep.
No, this is not a thing.
We lived in the same house.
You've told me about this a few times. It's not a thing.
Yeah. We've had this conversation before too, where they're like, "No, this didn't happen."
This isn't a thing. But go ahead with your thing, although it's not.
So anytime, like, for some reason we went on a camp out, took our kids there, we're going over this big bridge. It wasn't that big of a bridge. It's maybe like a 5-second bridge going 55 miles an hour. And for some reason I told the kids that, you know what, if you don't hold your breath while you go over the bridge, the ghosts of people that have died on the bridge will come to haunt you. And if you don't hold your breath, if you say your ABCs, the ghost will leave you alone. So to this day, every time the kids go over a bridge, they'll cross the bridge, hold their breath, and then they'll say the ABCs out loud. And the first time they did that, I was like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Dad, you told us that we'd be haunted by ghosts if we didn't hold our breath." I was like, I don't think I told you that, but whatever. So now that's what they do. They hold their breath and they say the ABCs. And when we go over bridges, I don't know. Kids are weird. So, Devon, lies you tell your kids.
I don't have anything like detailed like Steven. I would just say
it's not that detailed. It's a quick story.
No, it's pretty detailed.
You thought of backstory and histories for the ghosts and no. So I would say that's just like the common one where it's just like when they ask you something, you're like, yeah, maybe, and it's just like actually it's like no, but you're like, yeah, maybe.
Just so they stop asking you.
Yeah, maybe.
I see what you did there. See, the problem is like kids never forget, so they're gonna ask you anyway. So
I was just gonna say, like, my kid's got like total recall, man. Like he remembers everything. He'll be like, "Dad, last Tuesday at 3:45 p.m., you told me we are gonna do this thing on Thursday this week."
Yeah, and then I say, "Oh, well, Thursday already passed, and you didn't remember on Thursday, so you have to remember on that day."
You shouldn't let your kids watch Total Recall.
The remake or the original one?
Either one.
Either one.
I didn't know there was a
Lupo,
remake.
Yeah, Colin Farrell, I think. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. Lupo, do you have a lie that you tell your kids constantly, just so?
I think my kid's lactose intolerant. Like he used to get sick like when drinking milk and stuff like that. So we've been giving him almond milk for the last 3 years, and he still thinks it's chocolate milk. So
nice.
I keep telling the lie that it's still chocolate milk.
What is he? 27?
Oh, has he never had chocolate milk?
No, he's had chocolate milk, but like it was so at one point it was like all chocolate milk, and then it was just like adding almond milk and then cutting it to where it's just not even chocolate at all anymore.
Nice.
I gotcha. It's like iocane powder.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, lies that you tell.
Didn't
He already told he was first.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess
the lie was so
good. I'm going. You're really good at this, man.
So one lie that I tell my kids is I tell them that when they drive over bridges, that the ghost.
This is an interesting story. I'd love to know more. Hey guys, this is an Anthem podcast show. Surprisingly enough, it is not a show about parenting or how to lie to your kids. But if you have lies that you tell your kids, you can let us know. So we'll read those off. That's fun. So it's been 55 days since the launch of Anthem. We're in Act 1. We are in the month of April, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming down. But first, we got a couple things that we want to get to first. So the Freelancer Madness final has finished up. And Mike, will you give us a rundown on how our Freelancer Codex tournament went for Freelancer Madness?
We had a bracket challenge that we sent out to everybody, referring to the NCAA men's basketball tournament. We had 8 people join up, which was pretty fun. Hopefully next year we get more. It's a fun thing that we do. It's just to kind of help you watch the tournament, pick a team, root them on, cheer them on, kind of stuff. So we will start at the bottom. 8th place with 19 points, Coach Silky. Good job, Coach.
Nice job, Coach.
7th place.
I don't think Coach Silky finished the bracket.
I'm guessing.
I think he stopped around like the 16th. Anyway.
I'm guessing no. 7th place, it's actually Steven with 50 points.
I wasn't last.
You weren't last. 6th place was the Grab It Herder, Michael Estrada.
How was that?
Michael Estrada.
What? How? You said his first name normal, but
yeah, it's Michael Estrada.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. Keep going.
Cool.
He's the best. He had 56 points. Basic Rights had 65 points in 5th place. In 4th place, Man Tequila 106 had 68 points. 3rd place was Dat Dude Giles, who had 69 points, so that was a close race there. 2nd place was the Real Magic Mike, Michael Jensen, with 81 points. And the winner,
as opposed to the fake Magic Mike,
I guess. And the winner of our Freelancer Codex bracket challenge was myself with 90 points. So
well done, Mike. Super happy for you. That prize we were going to give out, we're not going to give to you. I'm just going to withhold that, and we're going to give it to someone that actually deserves it. So
it wasn't a new
you get
car.
A brand new car. You get a brand new PC.
We'll do one next year, and so join up. It's fun.
It is a lot of fun. All right, so we have a giveaway
today because we do want to give something away, right?
We love giving stuff away. That is one of the things that we love to do. We love giving back to the community. So we have the limited edition art book that we've been talking about a lot on Twitter. There's tons of concept art, tons of drawings of javelins, other javelins that they were thinking about doing. It's a really cool book. It has a lot of information from, I think John Warner gives a forward, and then there's a lot of little tidbits about everything in that book. So we're going to do a giveaway now. So I'm going to need a drum roll, and we are going to pick a winner. And hopefully it's not Devon this time. Give me a drum roll. All right, here we go. And we're going to select. And the winner is Amanda. Amanda is the winner.
Excellent.
Yay,
So
Amanda.
congratulations. We will reach out to Amanda, and then we will give that book away. And it's a great book. Comes with a really cool, I don't even know what it is. It's like a metal
It's a piece of cardboard covered in a wrap.
Okay, yeah, that's what it is. It's a piece of cardboard covered in a wrap, and it looks like one of the murals from the fort. So it's really cool. So congratulations, Amanda. We'll reach out and we'll get that to her. So very cool. Guys, there's a couple things. This hasn't been like a huge week for Anthem. Developers have been very quiet. I think they're just heads down working, trying to get this next patch up. And I think that has kind of caused like a lot of, I don't know, I don't want to say animosity, but, you know, we go from the developers talking to us a lot to kind of going silent while they're working on the game. Do you guys think it's fair for us as fans to be like, all right, guys, where's the communication? Why aren't you talking? And it seems like, I know, I mean, if you go to Reddit, I mean, Reddit's not a great barometer for the community just because it kind of tends to lean towards the negative side. So do you think it's fair that we're all asking the developers, you know, like, hey, we asked you to fix this game, and now that you're not talking, we're kind of like wondering where you're at? Lupo, do you get that feeling that, hey, they just kind of stopped talking and they're just ignoring us right now? Or is it just their heads down and they're working and we got to kind of wait it out?
I'll agree with that. Like, I know that that's what it is. I know that it's, you know, everyone's heads down. They're working on the next iteration of whatever it is that they're working on. But from the average person in the community's viewpoint, they've gone dark, you know, and it's frustrating for sure for anybody that's wants to put the time back in, but doesn't feel like their time is being rewarded properly, or you know, whether they just had a sour taste from the game from the get-go. Either way, just like a once a week say, you know, saying, hey, you know, I know that this is what we're working on, and you know, we're looking forward to getting out to you soon. Like, they've been pretty good with that, but the reduced conversation is definitely a point of contention for a lot of people right now.
Devon, what do you think they can do to kind of like bring that back? Is it just, hey, they have to be active again on Reddit, or do they have to be, because they're a little active on Twitter now, not as much as they used to be, but like, what's the answer right now in this time of I guess, building towards this next big patch?
I think really the answer is that they just need to establish a pattern for the people that are following the game to know what is actually going to happen. So, because like you said, before the game launched, there was a ton of people talking, different developers from all different departments at BioWare that were working on Anthem. And then, you know, after launch and a lot of negativity and other things, they you know, weren't really answering questions and different things, but they were still, I mean, answering stuff, but not as vocal. And I think it just needs to, now, you know, that the game's launched and they're in the live service phase, they need to establish the pattern of, okay, we're going to do weekly or bi-weekly, you know, stream or something, and they need to keep it the same whether they have the content or not, or at least put out some kind of post, you know, something. That's what, you know, other successful live streams or live service games are doing, is the constantly, okay, here's what we're doing, and then if it doesn't happen, they put out a post saying why they're not doing it. You know, and I understand, like, they didn't have a stream last week because they want to show the content, and Jesse took to Twitter and told us on there that, hey, it's not going to happen today. So that was good. He's communicating. He's really the main source of communication, I think, and Ben also, now that he's back from some personal time. But yeah, I just think they just need to establish, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to communicate with you guys weekly, and anything on top of that is just extra. Don't expect everything like it was before, because you guys want us to fix the game, so you can either let us fix the game or you want us to talk to you on social media. Which one do you want, right? So,
right. And if they do decide to go with like a weekly update, if you guys could do it before Thursdays, like that would be great. If we, you know, like just don't do Thursday. Like Bungie does Thursday, let them have Thursday. All right, so Mike, we're going to talk about a lot of patch notes here, and you're going to tell me if you ran into any of these. So this was 1.04 point something something something. So they fixed an issue that was causing loot to drop for javelins other than the one being used. So this is something I ran into a couple times, but I didn't run into it a bunch. Was this something that you guys were getting a bunch of components and weapons? Well, I guess it's not really weapons, but more components for other javelins. Did you guys run into this a lot?
I don't know if I would say a lot. I think maybe one an expedition. I don't think I got more than one an expedition, but I don't find this as an issue though. I think it's actually kind of neat to get a piece for a different javelin, because then that javelin is at least getting some progress while you're not playing with it, because then that might then entice me to go play them as its level starts to climb. So I don't see this as an issue.
Devon, did you have this a bunch, or was it even a problem for you?
So after 1.3 or whatever patch, so 2 patches ago, that's when it started for me. Like before that, I don't think I had ever gotten anything for a javelin I wasn't using. And then after that, it happened constantly on a regular basis after that patch. Which I'm in the same kind of boat as Mike. I don't mind that I get it. The only time it kind of sucks is when you get a legendary, and it's not for your current javelin, and it's like, oh man, dig it.
I think the highest I ever got was the Masterwork, so I mean, it wasn't an issue for me at all.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of legendaries, but
oh wow. Well, you get legendaries all kinds, so it doesn't matter for you.
That's very true. And Lupo, you're a Colossus main, so have you branched out yet and started using any of the other javelins?
I think it's super funny that you bring that up, because the first time I had this happen was I went to switch to my Storm, because I hear a lot of people talking about how if you start changing it up and going to different javelins that you actually increase your chances. And I don't know if there's some validity to that statement, but it seems like it. Like that's kind of the impression that I got. So I switched to a Storm because it's one that interests me, and I got a Ranger component.
Yeah.
So I put 200 plus hours into my Colossus, switched to a Storm to check it out, and got a Ranger component on it.
Yeah,
legendary.
And I could see how that.
Oh, a legendary.
Legendary.
Yeah, when you throw that on there, that's really the qualifier, because you're like Ranger. I'm like, okay, cool, Ranger. But then legendary, yeah, I get that. That could be. I think the first time it's kind of like, oh, hey, look at this funny thing that happened. But if it's happening like 3 or 4 times, you're like, what is happening? So.
And then now I only get universals on my Colossus. I haven't gotten one single legendary Colossus component at all.
They're all universals. Wow.
Yeah. And as a Colossus, you can't use them because you drop so much armor that you're putting yourself in a bad position.
Yeah.
No. All right, and they fixed that, and hopefully that'll get fixed. And so the next thing they talked about, and I think this is really for a PC. This is a PC issue. They addressed a number of issues that could occasionally cause NVIDIA highlights to crash. Then next one, they fixed an issue that was causing Elysian cache items to not appear until completing another activity or restarting the game. I'm glad that they fixed this. This one was actually kind of frustrating.
That was really frustrating.
I mean, I really want to see like all the chimeric materials that I get. I want to see the Storm parts that I get right afterwards. I want to see the Interceptor parts that I get, and I want to see like the other set of embers that I get per run. So, and if I'm not able to see that, I feel like I'm kind of cheated.
But we played. One night was that Tuesday? We played. Was it Tuesday night? Yeah. So when we did those runs, there was one of the runs where nothing showed up. Like we both got like a vinyl or a decal, right? And for me it didn't show up at all. And I went back the next day to finally be able to see it because it wasn't there. I was like, I thought this was fixed. And the first time we went through, it was fine. It was fixed right away. But the second run we did, the stuff didn't show up. So I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. And it's kind of hard because you're like, well, I mean, the names of the items are so kind of like, unless you memorize that thing and be like, okay, I need to go look for the Hand of Fate or whatever. And if you don't see that, you're like, well, was it a decal? Was it this? Is it really here? Did I get something?
Yeah.
Because you can track this stuff. You can see the tracker when you go into your quest items, but there's not like a check mark near, okay, you've gotten this item or you got this item. They just kind of
items
disappear
just
as you get them.
disappears from the list, huh? And then it just starts to
Right.
get shorter and shorter.
Right. So there's not really a way of saying, okay, of tracking like, okay, I did get this, I got this, I got this, unless you go make a list and you have your own Excel sheet along with the stat page that you're making anyway. All right. So the news feed will now properly show content again upon launching into the game. This was kind of weird. I was curious as why they took so long to fix this, because it was down for about a week and a half, if I'm not mistaken. So the screen just comes up blank. I mean, the information there, I mean, it's not super useful. They're giving us videos to like stuff that they put on the website that a couple of people have made on, you know, what do inscriptions do?
Well, when they have
how to
events,
travel through
right?
the world or whatever.
That's supposed to show up on there.
It kind of show up as a headline, but
And that would be
the
nice
first
to
time I
have
logged
it
in and
there.
it was blank, I was like, oh, it's blank today. Okay. I didn't think of it much until it started becoming like a thing. I was like, oh, maybe this is broken. So it's a good thing they fixed it.
And the sad thing is, you're like, oh, this is broken, and you just kind of like, okay, it's broken. You know, I guess this is kind of what I've come to expect for stuff like this. So that's fixed. Hopefully they'll start updating it with the public events that are supposed to be coming out, the free play events, because we have 6 on the list. All right, so they fixed that. They fixed an issue that was causing Earth 6 and Titans to not spawn as frequently in free play. So there was a while there where I didn't see any at all. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't that disappointed the Titans weren't spawning, because I'm kind of sick of
I was,
fighting
because
Titans.
I wanted more legendaries.
That's where you get the stuff. I mean, that's where you get the stuff. If you're chasing the loot, that's what you were looking for. So
I mean, I've got the majority of all my legendaries at a chest. So whether it's a Titan or whether it's a chest, I mean, fighting Titans isn't the funnest thing in Anthem. You spin around a lot as the Storm, and you just kind of get one shot if you're playing on pretty high difficulties. So for me as a Storm, I wasn't too disappointed to not see Titans. So
I guess you could always not get one-shotted then.
I guess that's true. I could
just get good, bro.
There's that.
I could get better at the game, so I could play different javelin, and maybe I could tank as an interceptor, but I probably wouldn't get any of the components for the interceptor. I'd get them for a different javelin. So they also fixed an issue that would cause the screen to shake when enabling DLSS and turning off motion blur. I haven't run into that because, sadly enough, I actually can't turn DLSS on my system, which is weird. With a 2080 Ti and a 1440 monitor, I don't have access to that, and that sucks. I don't know if that's an NVIDIA thing. I don't know if that's like an Anthem thing, but like I can't even turn it on. So that sucks. So
swap cars with Mike. You'll be all right.
I'm probably not going to do that. It took me 40 days to get my stupid card back after they fixed it. All right. So they fixed an issue that would sometimes cause players to not be able to interact with Owen or hear his audio at the end of a legendary version of the mission, Finding Old Friends. Lupo, I want your opinion on Owen. After he betrays us like a punk.
Whoa, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
I think it's been long enough. So after you get betrayed by Owen, he takes the Javelin of Dawn from you. Are you like on, hey, redemption for Owen or death to Owen? What team are you on?
I want to know more. Like that's my biggest thing. So when I was at PAX East a couple weeks ago, and I talked to Cameron. He's one of the lead narrative directors. And I asked, because he was asking everybody, what's your favorite javelin? What's your favorite javelin? And I was, or who are you? Let me guess. Whatever. So I said, let me ask you a question. Who's your favorite character? And he said, Owen. And he's like, trust me, you haven't seen the last of Owen. So I'm really intrigued now to see what we're going to get out of Owen moving forward. But it's tough because you want to like empathize with him, because like you understand what he's going through and what his potential could be, because he could be a pilot, but he could be a cipher at the same time. So I don't know.
I mean, he could probably turn into a monitor, because they have the ability to be a pilot and to be a cipher. So maybe he joins the Dominion. I don't know. He already tried to join the Dominion and the monitor rejected him. So going back through and doing like the legendary missions, you get to replay those. And in the beginning, we played through those early missions like so soon and so quickly that you kind of forget like the dialogue that was actually in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of really good dialogue. And there's the mission where Owen finds you and he's coming over your comms, and this was just after you betrayed him, and now he's warning you that the Dominion are coming after him. And I was like, before I was like on the side of redemption, but then listening to it talk again, I'm like, nah, you're kind of a douche, man. Like you completely betrayed like your friend.
Hey,
that
he was betrayed first. Okay.
Hey, 10 years ago, we found him trying to pickpocket us, right? And then we became friends, and then we moved over to the fort, worked together as a full team, and like I think he just kind of throws all that away. It's like we have history. It's
Yeah,
not
well,
like Halleck.
you threw it all away for Halleck and Faye, though, right? So I mean, you're just like, oh, hey, here's my other good friends. So even though we've been working together as a good team for a while, I don't really care about you. Faye's going to take care of the stuff now, and I'm not going to help you out become a pilot. I know you want to do that. You know, he's just got thrown to the side. So really, I mean, the freelancer's the jerk, right? Because he's the one who threw his friend that he's been working with for a long time. It's like, oh, hey, my other friends, my real friends are back. See you later. I don't need you anymore.
And I think, you know, when Owen writes us the letter and he's like, yeah, I get it. You guys were at the Heart of Rage together. Like, no one can replace, like, going to the Heart of Rage together. I understand. But, I mean, I don't know. It's like we had a mission. Like, Owen could have stayed and helped. I mean, I don't know if, you know, 2 ciphers are better than one. I'm guessing 2 ciphers are better than one. He could have, like, done something else. I don't know. But just to go and betray and be like, all right, peace out. I'm taking this super rare, ultra piece of history. And I'm just going to steal it from you. I'm going to go try to side with the bad guys. I don't know. It's just like replaying the missions. It kind of gives you a different, like, okay, this is what he did. This is what happened. And he's kind of a jerk. I don't know. So where were we? We were on bugs over here. I got distracted by chat. All right. So they fixed an issue that would sometimes cause players. We talked about Owen. And so Titan, Ursix, Luminaries, and Fury enemies should no longer disappear when another player starts an event in free play.
Good.
So... And this is really good. I didn't see a lot of the Titans or Ursixes disappearing just because they were gone for a long time. But I also haven't seen any Furies during free play. Have you guys come across Furies very often while you're in free play?
Not in like
Every
a
now
week
and
or
then.
two.
I don't think I've ever seen a Fury in free play.
Which ones are the Furies? Maybe I don't know which ones they are.
They're the machine ones.
Giant
Like,
long arm shields.
they're the boss
Oh,
of...
with the one long arm, right?
Yep, with the
I'm
bubble.
thinking-
They've got the one.
I'm thinking the one below it. What's the one below it? The
Brute. You're thinking of the Brutes.
No, they have the thing around their neck.
Yeah, the Brutes.
No, because the brutes are just in the wild.
No,
So
the ice brutes, the big ones, you know. That's
Are they called brutes?
Yeah, they're like something.
Yeah, they're Dominion
don't-
controlled Brute.
I don't pay attention. I just wreck face.
I understand.
Moving on.
All right, so we're moving on. So those are the patch notes. These are good updates. I was expecting a little bit more, but I think they're probably just waiting to put a bigger patch together when they can release all the new content that they're supposed to be coming out with. So Jesse announced today that next Wednesday, April 17th, they're going to do a stream with Ben Irving and a special guest, and they're going to be running the new Sunken Stronghold. And they tweeted out some concept art of that. So that's going to be really exciting. Although they said we're going to do a stream of this thing that's going to come out towards the end of the month. So I don't think we're going to get the actual Stronghold right after that. I think we're probably going to have to wait till the last week of April, unfortunately, which was kind of something that, you know, I said last show that I'd rather them wait the whole time to put it out and kind of do enough QA on it so that we're not running into invisible walls or things like that. So I'm actually okay with them holding it back. I mean, we're already 11 days into April. It's almost to the middle of, I mean, it's going to be the end of April before you know it. So I'm okay with them holding them back. Would you guys rather them hold it till the end of April, or would you rather have it next week right after they show off the stream?
I would rather the end of the month, but I don't want them to show. I mean, I think it's fine if they show some concept art and talk a little bit about it, but I don't want to watch them play it because I want to play through it the first time myself, you know, and not watch other people play through it. I think it'd be better if they showed off, you know, maybe some new armor or some other stuff, and not like the actual big new content. Or I mean, they can do like the same kind of tease they did before, where they only showed part of it, but still that takes away, you know, some of the excitement where you're like, oh, we've already seen this part. Let's blow through here, you know, and get to the parts that we haven't seen. So,
I mean, it could be like when Ben, Mike, and John got on. They did that first part of the Scar, the Tyrant Mine. What's it called? Swarm of Scar. Scar Monitor? No, it's the one with the
Tyrant Mine?
Mine Scar Mine. What's it called, Lupo? You've played this game for over 200 hours.
Scar.
The Temple of Scar. Thank you.
There it is.
So they just kind of went through the first area of that stronghold, going back and forth. So they didn't really show off the whole thing. So Lupo, would you rather them? I mean, you make your living now since you're internet famous on actually playing the game for people. So would you rather them just, you know, show you the whole thing, go through it, or do you want do you want the surprise?
I want them to walk through the door and that's it.
Okay. So then it
gives you enough to where people are like, I want to see this, but at the same time, they don't see anything.
So then for the rest of the stream, because they kind of did say that, hey, this is going to be the stream, we're showing this off. So what else do you want to hear next week?
I just don't feel that they should show any of it off. Like they should really go over all of the issues. Like do what they did a couple weeks ago and let somebody off camera play the game while somebody is
hopefully knows where to find water.
Yes, where they're all in there talking about what's going on. So these are the changes that are coming up. These are what we hear. So they have to define like the couple of different things. So like the things that they know people want to see, the things that they can fix of that list, the things that they can't fix from that list, and other things that they see that they know that they want to move in the future. So those are the things they need to talk about immediately. And I don't think they should show off the stronghold at all. They should just get to the door, go inside. You should be able to see like the entire area, but nothing else.
So Benjamin from chat says, please fix game before you show us new content, ? And I think this is like a really important thing that we need to like stop and talk about right now is that, this, like the bugs and the issues really should be a priority. I know they're not talking about loot. They're not talking about crafting systems yet, but I mean, it's a serious thing that a lot of the enjoyment of the game gets brought down by bugs like the 95% error that a lot of people in our Discord are encountering, like the player load error. So hopefully these are something that, because they haven't been talking about, they are heads down, working on this stuff, getting it to a point where it's like, hey guys, we want you to be able to play through this stuff. So, this is what we've been working on. And maybe that's why the live stream was delayed for a week. It's like, hey, let's nail this. Let's get this locked down. Figure it out before we just try to push it out and we have more issues, because that's the last thing that they need right now is them launching a stronghold and then us running into 95% bugs or some other bug that causes it to crash right when we open it up. And then Rusted brought something up kind of in the chat, and I wanted to get your guys' opinion. Right now, like when we go into a new stronghold, we just kind of have to select it from the map and we're just kind of taken there. What do you guys think about the idea of actually having strongholds accessible from free play to where you actually have to go and find where that stronghold starts? Is that something you guys would be interested in doing? Like, hey, I'm in free play, we're already here, I can just run over here. Or would you rather just, no, I want to select it from the floor and be able to go into it? Mike, would you have a preference on how to actually get into a stronghold?
It's actually pretty funny that we're talking about this now, because as you were leading up to it, talking about the other comment from Benjamin, like that was the thought that went through my head. It was like, what if I can go through a stronghold through the map? Like what would that do? So it's funny that was brought up. So Rusted and I are on the same wavelength. So that's pretty cool. There's just a couple things that could possibly be wrong with that. If you are in, well, I guess it wouldn't even be wrong with it. If you're in free play solo, you're not like matched up with the group that you're in there with, you can go to the stronghold and then go in, and then maybe it would put you into a playlist then of people who are selecting that stronghold. So it could link you up that way, which I guess could be cool. It eliminates a loading screen. I just maybe the only reason they don't is that it's too much processing speed on their end, and the world, because it doesn't feel like the world is like super stable, and so maybe adding that mechanic in would kind of break some more stuff. I mean, it could be cool. For that matter, if you're gonna do that with strongholds, why stop there? I mean, if you go to the area where a mission starts, give us the ability to queue up that mission if it's the legendary mission for that day or a contract.
Or be able to go back to the fort from the map or to a strider from the map.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, doing all that from the free play world, yeah, I bet it would take a lot of work to do, and it would definitely save on loading screens and the back and forthness. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd have to be able to experience it to really give a full opinion. But I think just in concept, it sounds good.
What do you think, Lupo? I mean, we all played Destiny, and we're all going to just use the comparison now because we want BioWare to be able to recognize that, hey, Destiny's a real player in this space. Like when you selected the Vault of Glass, you couldn't just select it from, well, I guess, could you open the gate from Vault of Glass if you're doing free play in Destiny?
Nope.
Now that I think about it.
No.
You couldn't. It was closed. It would glitch every now and then. You could run your
can
Sparrow
glitch it.
in.
You can glitch into it, yeah, but you couldn't
Wouldn't
it
go.
wouldn't
But none of
open the
But
activity.
it doesn't start. Yeah, it doesn't. Enemies don't spawn and chests don't spawn and stuff. I don't even know how far you could get down in there before you had to turn back. So
Probably 2 doors. So is that something that you would want, Lupo, just to be able to, hey, I'm in free play. If I want to go start a stronghold, I can do that. I mean, you're still going to load into a loading screen that takes you to the matchmaking, but instead of doing that in the fort, you could just do it there in free play.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to it because, like you said, it would cut down like the leaving free play. So you just have to worry about all the back end systems to get to that point, though. So, like, if you're in free play and you've collected too much stuff, you have all that stuff in your bag. Now, what do you do with that? So that brings up the point of saying, do we have to increase the bag size, or can it clear it out to a secondary location so that you can
give the ability to delete stuff in the bag?
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna go there, but yes.
I mean, it makes sense.
It
Well,
does.
but then, as we're talking about this, the other thought I had is, I mean, do you have a free play build and a stronghold build?
Me right now, no,
currently,
I don't.
No.
No.
Well,
currently, I don't think anyone has a build.
I think some people do. I've tried to make a free play build and a stronghold build. I have a luck build when I'm trying to max my luck just to get stuff, and it's not as high. I wouldn't take that into a stronghold. And so for when that becomes an issue, if you want to tank LMGs, and because Steve, you're working on an LMG, but if you want to do the work with the other weapons to get the achievements done with those, I mean, so I think for that system to work, you have to be able to get into your inventory and change stuff around in order to maximize those builds for those different activities before you can go in. And I think that's why you have to go back to the fort because you can't take anything else with you. So it's a consideration that needs to be taken into account. So.
Yeah, and that's something I didn't even think of. So you guys bring it up, and that's why it's good to like talk these things out. You get these ideas out because it's like, hey, I didn't even think about the loot that we had that we'd be carrying. Like, what happens to it? You just lose it all. So, which would not be fun. Devon, does it matter to you, or you just want to do this from the fort because that's the fastest way to get into your queues and get in there and go start shooting the mans?
So I mean, thinking back, we talked about this concept of finding the activities on the map, like being out there and finding the activity or finding a dungeon, probably pre-E3 last year, right? So I don't even know what episode it was, but we talked about it, and the idea and concept is really cool, but there's a lot of issues with the current way things are set up in Anthem, so it wouldn't really work. And I mean, Mike and Lupo have discussed those, but in the future, if they have a different type of loot system and the way you can get it, and vault space is larger, so you don't have to worry about things and the bag that you have. And, I mean, maybe if you go into there and you don't actually have to start it, but if you want to start it, it sends you to collect your loot and then go on, and you can start it, and get your friends together. If you're not playing with your friends, there's another, you could do some kind of solution like that. I don't know. It would be fun just to find the things, but also at the same time, people would complain, oh, I can't find this stuff. But it's just going to be on the internet soon, or streamers are going to find it. They're going to share it with everybody, like they do. So it shouldn't be hard for people to find stuff. But I think it's a fun idea. It's just going to be so much would have to change in Anthem for that to even really work at the moment.
Right, and as we talk about the open world, there was a Reddit thread where a user was going around and saying, hey, just to kind of change things up, I stopped flying. I took to the ground, explored, just ran everywhere or floated everywhere if you're the storm, and just kind of explored that way, just to kind of see, like, how big really is this world? And because, I mean, we just fly everywhere that we need to. We'll stop, we'll hit the ground for a little bit, but other than that, we're just kind of in the air. And they're saying, that the world is vast and it's big and it's huge when you're actually on the ground. But like I guess when John, they were always saying that, the world is ever evolving. You're going to be able to find treasure chests. There's going to be hidden things all over the place. I just haven't got that sense in our free play time that there is hidden things around the world. I mean, there's treasure chests. All those treasure chests are just another plant that you get embers and stuff from. But I never feel like, oh man, look guys, I'm discovering something. I don't know if you guys have gotten that feel during free play. Lupo, while you're streaming to all the people that are watching you, have you ever had that moment where you're like, oh man, check this out. I've never seen this before. Is this a hidden place? Am I discovering something new? Because in some games, you kind of get that excitement that, oh, I'm the first one to find this. Have you gotten that feeling at all while you're in free play or playing Anthem at all?
Periodically, but never like that true sense of like, this is completely different than everything else. So it's always like, I don't think I've seen this place before, or I didn't realize that I didn't get this little the little glyph or sigil that was on the wall over here. So I agree 100% with that statement though, that there could definitely be more sense of wonder like in the world. Like give me the little breadcrumbs that are going to lead me to something bigger. Like like I haven't really just like explored the water all that much, and I don't know if there's really much down there to go after, and is it worth my time to do that? Like we work 40-hour jobs. We try to create content. We try to enjoy games in our free time, and like you try to be as efficient as possible. So sometimes exploring isn't always the most efficient way to go about it.
Right there is actually one thing that I found yesterday while I was exploring in the water. If you go up to where Shadowmark is, that's the Dominion place that was destroyed, right? There's a giant clam over there, and if you swim up to it, you unlock one of like the exploration things. I think it's called the Clam Before the Storm.
Yep.
But it just pops and that's it. There's nothing else other than that. So you're like, oh, I guess I found a clam that I didn't even know I was looking for, and I don't really know why finding this clam was special. So and like you said, it's those things that I think are missing. There's a lot of there are some hidden caves, but there's nothing there for you. I mean, I think I forget who it was. Some developer was talking about, you know what? If I'm going to build this tall mountain, I'm going to give you a reason to go there. And when you find something there, it's because we put that there for you to reward you for making it there. So, I mean, I think this is something that they can do in the future. Give us a reason to go back to free play and start exploring instead of shooting all the Teslars that are on the ground. So, pretty interesting thing. And this is something that's going to have to evolve over time. I mean, our open world can't look the same like next year, I don't think, because if it is the same next year as it is right now, then I think that's a serious issue for this game. So hopefully things like the Cataclysm are going to bring some pretty big changes. So, and yeah, so Benjamin says that, the open world does feel a bit shallow to me personally. Like there's a lot of cool vistas that you fly around from, but you're flying so often that I think you miss a lot of stuff. And I think this is one of the reasons why a mini map wouldn't work in this game, because you're in the air so much that a mini map doesn't really do anything for you. If there was a way to set a waypoint, that would work, but you're just flying so fast that a mini map isn't going to say, I mean, what's it going to show you? Here's a blip over here. We already get that with the compass that we have now. So Anyway, I want to talk to you guys about something that long time ago, I was like, hey, if they're going to put a crafting system in the game, it has to have a purpose. You have to be able to get something from it that you can't get anywhere else. Unfortunately, the crafting system seems to me like just a giant placeholder currently. I don't think it serves a purpose right now. You can craft masterworks for certain things, but I mean, a lot of the masterworks that you would want to craft are stuck behind a quest chain that by the time you complete that quest chain, you're probably going to have legendaries to go in those slots. Yeah. So I think the
unless
way
you're JD.
Crafting, yeah, unless you're JD and you'll never get a legendary. He still only has 3 after 200 hours. I think the crafting system is bad. Like, I'll go ahead and say it. Like, I know someone did some work on this. I don't know if they were told, hey, put the skeleton out there, we'll build it up later. But currently the way you get blueprints is not cool. Most of the time you don't even know that you did get it. And it's just not fun or interesting to interact with the crafting system. So I went through and I actually did some math, guys. I did some quick, dirty math. That's my favorite kind of math, the quick and dirty math.
The quick and dirty math.
So Yeah. So right now you can purchase consumables in game from that one girl. I forget what her name is, but she wants to bring a Koroks into town. And Zoe tells us that constantly. But you, for example, you
All
can
the time.
purchase a Masterwork Ember for Lupo. If you were to guess how much you could purchase one single Masterwork Ember for, how many coins do you think it would cost?
Too many.
You're right. It's too many. It's 5,000 for one single Masterwork Ember.
For one.
Devon, luckily, because he has all the coins, tested this out for us. You went and bought a Masterwork Ember, and it did, in fact, give you one.
Yep.
So that's 5,000 coins. So I went through and I looked at, if you are to craft, say, like a legendary, a Masterwork component for the Storm. So just a quick breakdown. That will take 60 Chimeric Compound. It takes 30 Chimeric Alloy. It takes 30 weapon parts. It'll take the Masterwork Embers. It takes 15 of those. This used to be 30. For some reason, they dropped it down to 15, left everything else the same. So if you were to add all that up, do you know how many coins it would be for one Masterwork if you were to buy everything with coins?
I do.
It would be, how much would it be, Mike, if you were to buy a Masterwork with just pure coins?
It would be 315,000 coins.
And that's for one Masterwork.
It's for one masterwork item that you craft.
Devon, if you were to do math in your head, do you know how much, roughly if you were to convert, shards to coin based on the store, how much one coin costs in American dollars, in American money? Do you know how much it costs for one coin?
Just one?
Yeah, for just one coin. The rough estimate doing math is 0.000139 cents. Okay? Doesn't sound like a lot. Multiply that by 315,000. You know how much money it costs to make one Masterwork?
I bet you're going to tell us.
It's $43 to craft one Masterwork.
If you went that way. Obviously you can't buy coin. So, but we're just comparing it for the shard to coin ratio based off of the store. So,
this system is weird. This system is it's a broken system. I don't know why or even how this is a thing. I mean, the one thing that we have to do with this crafting system is make Masterworks to try to, create different builds. And it's so prohibitive right now. What, Mike?
And to fill the gaps. You got to fill the gaps in your build with these Masterworks that you craft. If you need an item with luck, you got to craft until you get some luck. If you need more weapon damage, you got to craft until you get weapon damage. So to fill the holes. So keep going.
And now, you do get a lot of materials. You get a lot of this stuff. You do get a lot of Masterwork Embers right now. But eventually, if you want to continue making these things to create different builds, you're going to run out of those things. You can still play the game and you can go through that grind and get them all. But to have that coin ratio to actually make a Masterwork, it's way out of whack. I don't know. They haven't said anything about the crafting system. There's been zero talk about it. And you can't craft legendaries at all. There's no way to upgrade, say, hey, how many common embers or uncommon embers do we have? Those things are going to sit in our inventories until they give us a way to upgrade them. So, this probably isn't the huge priority that BioWare needs to worry about right now, but it's definitely something that, it can't stay this way. It's just taking up space and it's not doing anything. So if you guys were to create a crafting system, what changes would you make to it to make it to where it's something people actually want to engage with? Because right now, how often do you guys craft Masterworks? Do you ever craft Masterworks?
Last time I crafted a Masterwork was in February.
Yeah.
Okay, so until then, you guys haven't even touched this at all. We have a vendor in the fort that this is her sole job is to sell us this stuff.
Yeah, it's her whole job, but you can just buy that stuff from the other store also. So
yeah, I was about to say that as well. You have the other vendor sells the same stuff. So I agree with what you're saying, Steve. Is that the system was put in place, but it seems kind of like a placeholder at times.
Yeah.
So I think some of the quick fixes that need to happen is you need to be able to roll your common and uncommon and rare stuff up. So you need to be able to cash those in. You need to be able to cash, 3 common materials for 1 uncommon material. And then, as you roll it up, So that needs to be done first and foremost, because I don't think there's a reason that any of us need to carry around common, uncommon, and rare materials. So that needs to be fixed for sure.
The only thing you can do with those, though, is if you're going to craft the consumables in 3 different levels to give you all of one thing in your consumable, you still need the other lower stuff.
And I understand that part, but I don't think that's the point of that.
No, it's not, but
I think that system is broken too. I don't think you should be able to stack your consumables. I think the Masterwork consumable, I think the Epic consumable that you put on, the Epic Shield consumable, should be the value of a common, an uncommon, and a rare all rolled into one. Okay, so I think that needs to be changed, because there needs to be a point in being able to do that and being able to put those sigils on. I think in general, and this really isn't speaking about the crafting system, but kind of talking about the monetary system and how you buy stuff in game. I think a 0 needs to be taken from every item in the game.
As far as buying it with coins, you mean?
As far as buying it with coins, buying it in the store, because it doesn't seem like, and this is just me, it doesn't seem like a decal is worth 61,000, but it's worth 6,100. And I think I'm basing that off of the amount of coin we get in every week.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot harder to earn coin than it was right at the beginning, right? At the beginning, there was a lot of stuff we could accomplish that would give us coin. I mean, there's still stuff that we can accomplish, but it's going out of the way, like, okay, I need to go find this other shotgun that I hate and drop down to a lower difficulty and just go out and free play and start killing things to level that up so I can get 2,000 coin. But
well, see, and the system needs to be built on the smallest denomination, the average smallest of how much you earn a week, plus a little bit extra, because you don't want to make it super easy, and I get that part. The times that I've got to play throughout the week, I haven't got to play much this week. I'm out of town. But the times that I've been able to be home and play, I believe my average, if I were just to do some quick math like Steve likes to do, I think I got 7,600 coins a week. I think that was my average. How much? I'm 7,600
a week. That's it.
And that's without your ally or whatever, the alliance coin.
I don't think it is. I'm gonna have to go back and look and check, because I don't remember it being 5 digits.
Yeah, I can get when I was doing stuff. If you accomplish a couple things, you can get 6,000 to 8,000, in a night for me, anyways. But
6,000 to 8,000 a night.
Yeah, when you're accomplishing different things for weapons and gear pieces, because they give you 2,000, or you're doing weeklies and dailies that give you like 2,000, that kind of stuff. And then usually the alliance stuff is close to 10,000 coins.
Okay,
every
so week. You just shot the whole bottom out of my whole.
Well, and I think this is something that like I don't track how many coins I have, because like my show of support for BioWare is buying the shard packs. That's just what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people will be like, well, stop it because you're ruining it. You're telling people that this is okay to do that. Whatever. This is what I'm doing, and you can. If you want to tell me what to do, you can do that, and I'll just delete the email. So that's what I'm doing. So I don't have a problem with the coins. So I'm not tracking it at all. But like looking at all, like I track all the stuff that's come through the store, and currently, like the majority of the things that we get through the store are all epic rarity. So they cost a lot more. So to buy a graphic at the epic level is 36,000 coins. To buy an emote at the epic level is 23,000 coins. Like arrival animations are 18,000. So, there's 2 resets in a week. If you are getting like 10,000 coins, you're still not getting enough to even buy like right. I mean, you can get textures that are lower level, but even then it's like, I don't know how they're picking like, okay, this graphic is rare or this graphic is epic. I don't know like who decides on that, considering it's like art and like, people's tastes vary. So I don't know why this piece of wool is a lower rarity than this other piece of wool, other than just being able to flesh that out at all. So like, I mean, there's things like that I just don't know. I don't know what decisions that they've been making to be like, okay, this costs this costs this, other than saying, all right, there's a variety. So if you haven't made that much, you can still buy this one. I don't know. But I mean, I agree. Yeah, like it's for someone that doesn't worry about coins, I can see how it would be hard for people to get enough coins to buy an armor pack that is 61,000 that, you know what, hey, I finally saved up enough. Now how long do I have to wait until I get that, you know, until the storm armor comes around again, until the exalted armor comes around? Because it might be a while till it comes around again. So do you like, well, I've got this coin. Do I just save it, or do I just buy this other stuff that comes through? Because what else are you going to do with it? You're not going to go buy, you know, embers and stuff with it, because that's not cost effective. So,
No.
I mean, I think it's, I mean, as we go through these things, it just seems like there's kind of like this overarching, you know, to solve one problem, I think you kind of have to solve a lot of problems, right? And I don't think they're going to be able to do that anytime soon. It's something that's going to be able to take time.
Yeah.
Because really, like, I mean, we have to have a reason to craft stuff. You know, if there's a reroll system in the crafting, I mean, put that in there. It's like, hey, for this many
Love it.
Masterwork Embers, you can reroll one inscription.
Yeah, and once
And that
you
would
once
give you
you
a
re-roll
purpose to
it,
have
that's
them.
the only one you can re-roll, right? Just, I mean, it's a similar system. I mean, we've talked about that before, but, and I mean, honestly, crafting Masterworks is a waste of time for myself. I mean, unless I'm crafting something for a different javelin besides the interceptor, because I'm legendary. I'm all maxed out with legendaries. I would love other ones, and they're not. Some of the ones I use aren't as good or aren't my favorite. But you know, to achieve that maxed out legendary status, which you know you'd think would make you the best version of your javelin, but it doesn't though, because you can have really, I mean, once they increased the drop rate for the legendaries, the inscriptions just got crappy. You know, to get a good one was a lot harder, and that's fine, because at least for me they drop a lot more often, and that's the thing where it's like, okay, if it drops enough, there's enough turnover where you can actually find one with those good inscriptions on it, then that's fine. Or if they're gonna go back to the system where it was always really good inscriptions, but it was harder to find, you know, they have to do one or the other. But it just seems like right now it's kind of they're dropping, but it's not enough to warrant how bad the inscriptions are. Like I've had one of the legendaries that had like a 1% damage boost to it. I was like, what kind of crap is this? 1%?
It had 1%. So like
Yeah.
1 times the number is 1. So
Yeah.
or is that number? So it's not going to
There's
change
like
anything?
plus 1% damage.
Yeah, plus 1%.
Oh, plus 1% damage.
Yeah, I was like, what
So
kind of
+1.
crap is this? You know? So I mean, they need to have standards, right? I mean, legendaries, I mean, people have talked about it in the Discord and stuff like that, where legendaries should be legendary, and you should have a standard base, you know, and plus 1% is not legendary. It's just not. So
That's common. Like 1% is common. Like uncommons don't even drop with that. So Benjamin from the chat says, aren't legendaries supposed to have max inscription rolls? And they currently don't. We don't know what the ranges are given to what that's supposed to be. Like Devon said,
they're supposed
right
to have
now
a
the
better
percentages
chance.
are from 1 to like 300. So I got a new legendary today. I got the Hailstorms Renewal, and that's you throw out as the storm, you throw out a bunch of rocks of ice, right? It's not very flashy, it's not very cool, it's not the best one, best weapon or gear slot to use, because it's not even like a primer. It will free stuff. So I've been rolling with the Masterwork version because it gives me 25% damage overall, and then it buffs my light machine gun stuff. So I get the legendary, I'm like, all right, this is going to be awesome. And it gives me 28% luck, 18% gear speed, 58% pickup radius, and then 200 gear charges, which is fine. It's like, okay, now I get 3 charges on this thing. But I mean, it doesn't help me other than that, because I mean, the ability, you know, if I defeat an enemy, it gives me 70% shield recharge. But if you got 3 charges on that and you kill 3 enemies, like, you're not really doing much to recharge your shields. I mean, like, it just doesn't feel like you said, Devon, like the inscriptions matter on legendary. So that the quality just isn't there. The quantity's gone up, For some people, JD, it hasn't gone up, but the quality isn't there. So I think we beat this horse long enough. We should stop beating horses on the show. We really should. So real quick, because we've been talking for a while and Michael's super tired, we'll touch on this last thing and then we will just kind of get out of here. So the April roadmap is up. We are currently in day 11 of April. They still have to release a mastery system, new items. There are 6 Cortex entries that are locked. There's a Shaper Surge free play event. We're going to get legendary missions in phase 2. The Sunken Stronghold is going to be at the end of the month. We're going to get weekly Stronghold challenges. We're going to get leaderboards, and we are going to get guilds. So I don't know if this is all just going to come at one patch towards the end of April. That's kind of like the feeling that I get right now because it's already day 11 and we've heard nothing. I mean, is that the feeling that you guys are getting, that we're just going to wait for all this stuff? Because, I mean, we're almost there. Lupo, does this worry you at all? Do you think they're pushing stuff back farther than initially anticipated?
Yeah, with good reason, but yes. You know, there's larger sweeping changes that need to be done before these particular things are addressed, but it doesn't discount the fact that if I had more content, I'd be more inclined to play. That's not a secret at this point. Incentive to play is really the one thing that's holding me back from playing more than I am right now. Content would fix some of that. Loot would fix some of that. You know, so I understand. You know, I have to see things from both sides. So like I understand why, but at the same time, as a consumer and wanting to consume as much as possible, this is not helping.
Yeah.
Mike, do you feel the same? Different? Would you like a rebuttal against Lupo? Or should we keep your buttles alone?
I enjoy playing the game still. But I said this last week, and I'm gonna keep playing. I'm not always. You always want more content. I think it's human nature to always want more content. It's not super fun to do the same stuff 50, 60, 70 plus times, regardless of who you're playing with. Because again, that's my main draw, is getting on with my friends and playing, talking with them most of the time, and even sometimes doing those kind of mindless activities in the game. It's still fun for me. The challenging content is fun. When you ramp up the difficulty, but even going back down a level to, get on with someone to help them get their coin for their shotgun, that could be fun too. I do agree with Lupo that there needs to be incentive there to play, else you're not gonna play it. There needs to be a reason for you to keep playing the game. There needs to be a push for something. There needs to be a hook that keeps you coming back. So I agree with that. But like I said, I'm also just gonna keep playing until I think I've exhausted all of my energies to play. I've been gone for a week. I haven't been able to play for a week. So when I get home, I'm gonna have a lot of catch up to do. Just to get back and re-hone the skills and get back in there.
You're going to be behind on those Matt Damon keys.
I am very behind on the Elysian cache keys. Yes, you are correct. So are they still around? Has this session is
still there?
This round isn't over, right?
I think we're 26 days left, if I'm not mistaken.
I have plenty of time.
You got plenty of time.
Not really.
Catch all the materials.
Get 1 key a day.
You get 1 key a day. So
I have
caches?
26. Yeah, I have 26 more chances, but I get home in 3 days, so I'll have 23 more chances. And
but you know what you can do?
23 more items.
You can be like all those other players. You can go with all those other players that have keys, and then just steal all their loot.
I won't go in without a key. I'm not that guy. I know how to pull my weight.
People make me mad.
Hey, maybe they already used their key and they just still enjoy playing. All right.
Well, they sit there and they're like waiting for you to open it, and they're like act like they're gonna open the chest, and then it's like, come on, man, I know you don't have a key. All right.
Yeah.
I know you don't have a key. Anyway.
You know what? I think the thing to do is just to open one chest, and that's it. And
then you'll never get all the materials.
Well, but you can't let people win.
Hey,
I've decided.
People are always
I'm gonna use all the keys I got.
Right? Well, I understand that because you're you. Yeah. But again, I mean, like I said,
I'm not selfish.
It's not gonna make me stop. I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna keep playing.
And I think it's really important to know, like, all this, like, we sound like we're pretty critical on the game, but we are because we enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Because we want the game to be better. Like, if we didn't enjoy playing the game, we would just stop playing the game.
Yeah, we just
there's a really weird idea on the internet that, you know what, if you hate something, you got to keep reminding people that you hate something. Like, we, talking on Twitter today, we sending out a couple tweets. It was right after, I think it was after the Justice saying that, hey, we're going to pull out a stream. I guess you guys could probably all guess the first comment that anyone posts on any of these things. Dead game. That's what they post. And you get on there and you're like, oh man, that's real great. That's real original. I mean, I bet this really hurt their feelings that you said it's a dead game.
Well, they're doing it to be the first person who comments, right? Because then that's the first comment everybody sees. It's not about content at this point. It's about who can get there first. I mean, and that's a global issue that goes to everything that we.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like cool. You said, oh, dead game. Like, for what? To be the first? Because you think that's like original to say to a developer that's working on a game, just to like bring people down. Like, we provide a lot of feedback and a lot of ideas. Like, hey, this is broken. These are some ways to fix it. That's why we always try to, give ideas. Like, we're not here to tear Anthem down. That does nothing for anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you've got people that have been working on this game, spending countless hours, overtime. A lot of people that have gone through, serious crunch to get this here, and just to be like, oh, dead game, trash game. It's like, it's so like pedantic and reductive that you're not adding anything to the conversation. Like, you may think you're funny, that's cool, but I mean, people have been doing that since the 90s. So great job on your originality. Like, I really wanted to tweet back when someone was like, oh, dead game. I wanted to be like, it's like, well, I shouldn't say stuff like that. I deleted a bunch of comments, and I think that's kind of, cathartic to me. You write out a bunch of like comebacks and you just delete them.
Like,
no point in saying it, right?
Yep.
So just like, whatever.
Well, how many tweets in your lifetime have you deleted before you actually sent them? Like, that's
a lot.
And I think a lot of people could learn from that.
Well, and it's universally recognized as a cathartic coping technique to get all that off your chest. And just even if you just write it on a Word document so that that you're not going to accidentally send it. So just write it on a Word document and then send it. It's actually good just to get that stuff off your chest. So if anybody out there in the internet world is stressed about something, write a letter, send it to the person that you want to send it to, write it all out, tell them how you feel, and then just throw it in the trash. Because really, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Like funny enough, I think that was something that Abraham Lincoln did a lot, because they found a bunch of letters from him that he just never sent out, because he would do that. It's like, people would make him mad. He'd write out a letter, you get it out of your system, because at the end of the day, like, that comment adds nothing to the conversation. If anything, it adds to their analytics that people are talking about Anthem and are engaging with you. So good job.
You're so like mad you still concern yourself with Anthem all the time. It's so dead. You still pay attention to everything they tweet out, right? So
yep.
Right. So guys, it's been a great conversation. I think we have a lot of good ideas. I'm glad for the patch notes that they're coming out with. Hopefully these are going to help people that are having these issues. I'm excited for the next patch notes that are going to, give us, hopefully they're going to change a lot of the inscription systems. The systems are going to continue to get better and better and better. Hopefully, I don't know if it's better for them just to like slowly fix the loot, or if they just need a loot 2.0. So hopefully we can do that. So this has been episode 81 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Lupo, like, what games are you playing on stream for everyone that watches you? And do you have like a set schedule of when you play?
I play every day except for Tuesday and Thursday. Those are like my two not stream nights, because you got to have like your administrative things and, family time and all that kind of stuff. But like, I'm playing loot games, like playing other loot games is making me have that appreciation for Anthem, because the one thing that Anthem does better than anybody else is just give you that flying and shooting feeling. No game offers that. Period. The end. Like there's nothing. There's no two ways around that, at least. But right now for me, it's Borderlands, the remaster. Playing a lot of that right now. Still playing Destiny. Touched Division a little bit, but I wasn't really that into it. And Warframe. And I think there's another game in there. No, that's about it.
You're still on the Warframe train. Very cool.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think that Anthem can learn a lot from games like Destiny, Division, Warframe. In the terms of, I don't want to say fan service because people hear that and think negatively, but say like, hey, like this is what your fans want. Like,
yeah,
let's be constructive about it. And I know they are. I know they are. You know, they're not taking out the ideas and just throwing them out. I know that for a fact. You know, they're taking everything in, and they're worst right now. That's I think that's what they're doing. Worst to first. You know, like what's the worst possible thing right now? Let's take care of that, and then you know the not so bad stuff can be last.
Yep, you got to stop your heart bleeding before you work on that hangnail. So until next time, guys, guys and gals, this has been the Freelancer Codex podcast with episode 81, and there's a Shaper Storm on the horizon. We'll see you on the other side.
Peace.
Later.
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Freelancer Codex, on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or through email at freelancercodex@gmail.com. Join the Discord through the link provided at freelancercodex.com. Our show will always be free, but if you'd like to send some support, you may do so at patreon.com/freelancercodex. Our individual Twitter handles are at Steven Lamson, at mlamson25, at Neverfear, and at JD the Joke Dealer. Freelancers, it's time to get to work.